Welcome in latest episode of that SEC podcast. I'm your host, Michael Bratton. I go by SEC Mike on the Twitters, and there he is, everybody's favorite cousin Shane, with an axe through his head. He never looked better, Shane.
Hey, buddy, what's going on?
Oh, buddy, man, we've had a wild one over here. Conducted a couple interviews. Just got off the line with Steven, do his Week 10 SEC predictions, and we have got an absolutely loaded mailbag show. How are you doing?
Pumped up, man. Don't forget, family reunion after this, too, Mike. You've had a busy day.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people ask, how do I get a cousin? I had one send me out a thing today. If you just go to the YouTube channel and you look at the details, look at the last show there, at the very bottom, there's just a link. You click on it, and there you can get in. If you've got an iPhone, you're not going to be able to do it from your phone unless you go through that link. But I'm looking forward to hanging out with the family after this. Obviously, the wife, she's mad at me. No, she's not mad. She didn't do this. I'm joking.
Well, I have another way, too, for the membership, Shane.
Yeah.
I just drop it in here in this chat. This fancy-dancy. I've figured out a way to do it. So let me keep them occupied here while I drop in this here link.
Man, this is like, I always think like Mission Impossible, back in the day when Ethan's, he's just kind of hanging there in the in that room, trying not to raise his temperature and everything like that. And you're just working up the kinks there. Just fix the program. Appreciate that, Mike.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know how many Joe Rogan fans are out there, but it's his sidekick there, Jamie.
Yeah.
But if Jamie were doing the show too, you know what I mean? It's like, that's what we are over here. You know what?
You just compared yourself to Jamie. Maybe like a younger Jamie before he learned how to. No, I'm just joking. No, you're doing great, man. I appreciate it.
Well, hey, buddy, don't forget, as always, we're brought to you by MyBookie, the online sports book presenting sponsor of the show. Head on over to mybookie.ag today. Sign up for an account. It's the best way to help the show during the football season, Shane. And most importantly, the promo code, that SEC, THATSEC, they will double cousin curse your initial deposit over there at MyBookie with that promo code, that SEC. I know you are not giving your picks away until tomorrow.
Yeah.
But we are accepting donations for Shane to not lock up your team. Without revealing your lock here, have you decided the lock yet? Are you feeling pretty good about cursing a team or two? Where are we at there?
Here it is. I already know which one it is. I'm not going to tell you now, but I'm just as confident as I was in LSU last week, Mike. That's what I should have been. Like, LSU fan finally got me, for locking them down last week. Yes, I have been on the opposite of a heater, and but I feel like, man, I don't go in these locks picking who I think's going to lose. I wish it was that was the case. I was just that confident LSU was going to kick Texas A&M's ass last week, and we all saw what happened there.
Cousin KM says, Cousin Shane, I'll do your steps for you if you keep picking against the Aggies. How about that?
Oh, my gosh, Mike. And I really trailed today, brother. When we get off here, I calculated I'm probably got to do 1.5 miles. So, after the family reunion, my fat ass has got to lace them up in the dark and go finish these steps. But a word's a word, man.
Well, luckily you live right next to a park where you could do it.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah. Honestly, if I get to the park and maybe do a couple laps and get back, I think that would be pretty good, At least it breaks up. It's not a track or a treadmill. I'm not one of those guys. I mean, clearly. but I do like to see, like, something different, a little scenery. The problem is where it's going to be so dark outside,
Well, hey, if you allow me here for a second, Shane, this is going to kick me off the audio and everything.
Yeah.
But people, I think, are not getting the picture of what you got on your head because it's kind of like a box.
Yeah.
So I'm going to kick myself off here for just a second, just so people can get a look at this this axe you got in your face.
Look at that. $1.50, dollar store. Can't go wrong with that one.
See, when I first saw it, Shane, I thought it was like, remember Bullwinkle? What's it, Rocky and Bullwinkle? That's what I thought. I thought you had the antlers at first myself.
Yeah, I probably should just went like back and forth a little bit, maybe be a little more active. Yeah, I see that. Well, I started off with the gray Nautica, and I was like, I've got to get the blue one on here to mix it up a little bit. So
Cousin Jay's got a heck of an idea, Shane. You go to the park, you walk around, leave that thing in there just to freak everyone out. No one will come near you.
Just hang out in the bushes, you know. That's why I got this mask right here, Mike. You know, my daughter, it's the last year, man. My youngest, that she's going to be doing the trick or treating. I think she's already going to bail on me, but I got this for me, you know, so when we go run our lap somewhere, you know, I could be sitting there in the truck looking all creepy and stuff, you know. So it looks like now I'm not going to be able to do that. So enjoy it. If you got kids, get out there, have some fun. That's tomorrow. That's why we moved the family reunion. We didn't want to interfere with any candy getting, but yeah, it's been kind of fun, man. You know, mix it up a little bit this week.
Well, consider it mission accomplished on being creepy, my friend. All right, we got an outstanding mailbag edition of the show. You ready to answer some mailbag questions?
Yes, let's do it.
And as always, you want to throw us a donation in the comments or anything like that, we'll answer anything you got. And real quick, shout out Cousin Jack Knighton. He just became a member of the channel. We hope to see you at the family reunion tonight, Shane. But and we always get the cousins, the official cousins. We get their questions first here.
Yep.
So shout out Mario P. He's a cousin. Tell him why them Gamecocks can't get into the playoff at 9-3 with a bunch of top 25 wins over A&M. And Clem sucks, he says. And, of course, Mizzou, he doesn't count as a top 25 win. But could South Carolina get in at 9-3 if they get on a heater here and win, what would that be, 6 in a row to close us out?
Yeah, I mean, I think you need a lot to go your way, Mike. And by a lot, I mean the rest of your teams. You mentioned A&M, but I think Mizzou's got to win out. Clemson's got to win out. A&M's got, you know, Vanderbilt. They cannot take their foot off the gas because the win's got to look impressive. You know, you're trying to put that together for November. Can it happen? Crazier things that happen, Mike. And if you have some substantial wins, not just like overtime win or a field goal win type deal, I feel like you can move up this list quicker, but I still feel that there's a handful of top 15 teams that you're going to need to lose.
Yeah, and you're going to need some chaos. I think that's what you're kind of referring to. We're going to need upsets because now, I mean, who in the hell knows, Shane? But people are, you know, they're putting the pieces together, and they're saying it. Hell, if you go 10-2 in this conference, you may not get in.
Yeah,
and if that's accurate, which everybody's guessing, you know what I mean? But if 10-2 ain't good enough, it's going to be a struggle to see a 9-3 team get in, no matter how impressive. But that should be the exception, I think, Shane. If you're 10-2 and you lost like one of your final 2 games, that's to me is probably not as impressive as a 9-3 that's on a 6-game heater.
Right. Yeah, again, it's momentum. What do you look like now? I mean, that was the point of the playoffs because I felt like there's several BCS games that we watched that we didn't have the best 2 teams in there because they fumbled right out of the gate. You know, prime example is Texas A&M right now. So I feel like if you go 9-3, South Carolina goes 9-3, wins impressive. There's a little chaos in that top 15, and by a little I mean at least 3 or 4 of those teams maybe have a loss. Then yeah, there is a scenario. But golly, buddy, you know, there's a scenario that I'm 215 pounds this time next year. You know.
Hey, Blueberry J, speaking of that, he says, is that strawberry jelly or blood coming out of your mouth there?
So my daughter, she started out right here, and it ended right there. I was like, you're going to have to put some more. They're going to think it's a jelly-filled donut.
All right, on with the questions. Shout out to our guy, Liquid Flames, Cousin Dustin. He's a member of the channel. Great question here. He asked last week, but we didn't have time to get to it. In the offseason, there was a lot of talk, Shane, about the 12-team playoff, and it could diminish conference championships, could diminish bowl games. Do you think that is happening, and will more and more players opt out of the bowl games? What do you think about that? Because I would tend to agree with that. I mean, I put out a scenario this week. There's an opportunity. Georgia's number one in the country. They don't even make the SEC championship, and all the comments under it were Dog fans saying, "Great, that's exactly what I want. I don't want to. Why play in that extra game if we're already essentially guaranteed a spot in the playoff?" And I think that's kind of where fans are at.
Yeah, I mean, if we would have stuck with the East-West, I mean, there was that scenario where maybe you had an East opponent with 2 losses or 3 losses that could get in if they win an SEC championship. So I feel like the SEC championship was always kind of like a get out of jail free card too for a team that maybe struggled earlier in the season. Now
like Bama last year.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
but see, it knocked Georgia out though.
You're hearing sescenarios where people take it easy in the SEC championship. You got somebody that's hurt that probably could go. Maybe they pull him a little bit, so that doesn't happen. Now, as far as the bowl games, we're already diminishing it. We were doing that 2-3 years ago, I felt like, But
right.
What is intriguing, and one of the arguments I heard about maybe possibly doing with the bowl games, is now that we have the NIL, is maybe having some sort of payout, for the kids to stick around. And there may be some kids that want to go on to the NFL and do that, but I feel like there's still going to be some kids that want to stay behind because they are a team and they want to win this for their brother, family members there on the football squad.
Right. And just so people understand, this is all new. It's all wild and wacky. The first round of the playoffs, we feature at home stadiums, right?
Yes.
But the second round, just so everybody knows, like the SEC champ, they'll probably be number 1 overall. I don't think it doesn't really matter what seed the SEC champ is. Their first game will be in the Sugar Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Just so people know. So the bowls are still being incorporated, but yeah, it won't be the Birmingham Bowl, the Mayo Bowl. It's not going to be those bowls, but some of the Rose Bowl, I think, will certainly be in the playoff, as will the Fiesta Bowl and things of that nature. But I just wanted to throw that out there because I know it's all very confusing, kind of. At least it confuses the hell out of me.
It does, and because there are more games on, I think that too may take away a little bit from bowl season,
right?
Because of the playoffs. But I don't know. All in all, I still think that they're going to figure out a way, Mike. I mean, this is a business. At the end of the day, I mean, we love these kids. We want them to get an education, blah, blah, blah. We know what this is all about, and it's about money. And if they feel like they're not getting the viewership, they're going to find ways to make it more interesting or make sure that, that they're getting the best product, more bang for their buck, if you will.
Right. Speaking of bang for your buck, Shane, Chicken 1515. What a guy. He just gifted. He did it on the last channel, too. This time to AJ. So, AJ, welcome to the family.
Welcome, AJ. I was trying to look at his logo. I always thought it said quinoa, but that's like OU something, right?
OU DNA.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Quinoa, you were way off.
Yeah, sorry. My eyes ain't like they used to be.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, getting hungry.
Not a quinoa. All right, how about this? Another cousin, Shane. Be Creepy. What a name. He's very, very
Me
active.
later at the track,
when the real Carolina beats A&M, who will run the SEC to the championship game? So basically what he's asking, he's not even saying if, he says when. Let's say in his scenario, we're not predicting this. This is Be Creepy.
Yeah.
A&M loses to Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe this is the better way to do it. The standings is the updated standings. So if A&M loses, they'll be 5-1 in the conference. What's your confidence level that they still make the SEC championship? And then again, here's their schedule. So they could certainly still get in if they finish 7-1 in conference play and they beat Auburn, they beat Texas. I think they're a lock. But if they're losing to South Carolina, I don't know that it is a lock that they'll beat at Auburn and Texas at home. What's your thoughts on that?
No, I mean that's one of the things. It's tough to predict, Mike, because I mean you can't even count Auburn out. But I think the answer to this question is: do I think A&M is going to lose to Texas? Because I feel like in this scenario, South Carolina beating A&M, then you go back, okay, well, who's in? Is it Texas? Is it Texas A&M? Is it LSU? You know, Georgia's probably going to be the team that's in there, but even that's not even guaranteed. I mean, they got Ole Miss, they got Tennessee, so there's still some games there.
Yeah.
So I don't the best part, Mike, is hell. Nobody knows. I mean, I could sit here and give you a guess, you know, right now, but that's exactly what it is. I feel like this November race is wide freaking open.
November to remember.
Yeah. Hell yeah, man. I think right now who you got penciled in are probably the two teams that won't be there. You know, it could be that way.
Right. But I'll just answer the question. I mean, yeah, you're right. It's a complete guess. If it's not A&M, it's probably Texas and probably Georgia.
I would think Texas, Georgia right now is the two I would go with.
Mm-hmm. All right, how about this one? Shout out Michael Raleigh, big Gator fan. He's an official cousin here. In the honor of the great Mike Leach and Halloween, which SEC mascot wins in a fight, you know, a battle royale type against all of them? Who do you think, Shane, is the last mascot standing in an SEC battle royale?
Well, let me ask you on the mascot side real quick, because is Smokey considered a mascot, or is, you know, Davy Crockett?
Yeah, see, that's interesting. Are we going like the dog, or are we going the man in a dog suit? Because if we're just going the animal, how can it not be the elephant? You know what I mean?
I think if it's just an animal, I'm leaning a little more toward the elephant, you know. I mean, obviously, I would think the dogs would be out. You know, get the dogs out, get the cocks out, get small tigers out. I feel like that's what it's going to come down to. You know, if you get in the water, I mean, that would favor, you know, the swamp there, but just get out of the water, you know, or stop, you know, shallow water. And I feel like you're talking about the Bengal Tigers. So that's your Mizzou, that's your LSU, that's your Auburn. Auburn's a trick because not only you fighting a tiger, but that freaking eagle's flying around there somewhere. I mean, they got the two. So I would feel like it'd come down to tigers, but unless it's like a pack deal where they all go in on the elephant,
right.
You know, at the end of the day, I mean, it's going to come down to Alabama, I feel like.
Yeah, but yeah, that's an excellent point, Shane. They could they could all know that going in. So they say, all right, you get that leg, I'll get this leg. You know, they could take it out at the knees, and then it's a battle royale from there. You know what?
If the elephant is removed from the situation, then, I mean, you still got the steer. I mean, they're going to have to get him too. You know,
excellent question for Bobby, though. Who's the weakest? It's got to be the gamecock, right? The little chicken. I mean, he ain't going to win, is he? I know he's got claws, but...
Well, we're just kind of overlooking a commandeer. So what exactly does that...
He's a ship master. I mean, is
it a battleship? Because he just wiped out everybody. So if it's the mascot that we see on the sideline, you know, I think he's got a sword.
Yeah.
I mean, he could be interesting. You know, if he just like hangs back, kind of like what Vanderbilt's been doing here the last 10 years, just hangs back, and then at the last minute, just shit. What if it's Vanderbilt?
Looks like he got you already with his sword.
Yeah. See, you overlook them, and then all of a sudden you got a fatal wound. So I don't think you could rule out the Commodore. So, but I think weakest would be the cock.
Hey, we got a donation. Appreciate you, Blueberry J. He says if Tennessee beats Georgia, but loses to Vanderbilt, are they getting in?
Real quick before we get going, Ole Miss. It's a rebel and a land shark. You know what I'm saying?
I think the land shark is. Let's not even count that.
Okay, so the rebel too's got a gun. Shit. You know what? It may be the rebel. The more I think about it, he just sits back and shoots everybody.
Right. He's probably hammered. You know what?
Yeah.
Knowing
drinking
that
all day.
Base. Yep.
Yeah. You roll up. And you're like, wait. There's only 15 animals, and then all of a sudden he comes out and he shoots everybody. And you're like, Ole Miss.
So is Tennessee in? Do you think, Shane, if they beat Georgia? But lose to Vandy.
Yeah, Yeah, I feel like at that point Vanderbilt's finally going to get recognition that they deserve, which would be, I don't know, man. That's the last game of the year. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. It really depends on what Vanderbilt does. But if you beat Georgia and you're 10-2, I don't see how you can keep Tennessee out.
And as long as Alabama doesn't crater, that's another big win.
Yeah, yeah. Look, that's two.
And that's
two
how they
big
that's how
wins.
they judge you. You know, who have you beaten essentially?
Yeah, they're in.
Okay. How about this one, Shane? From
I would be heartbroken though, man. That'd be like a South Carolina dagger, and then you're just stressing out like 22 to see if you get in or not.
you know this crazy bastard, the Flying Hawaiian, has got a question for us. If you and Shane, we got to work on his grammar here. He says, if Shane and you were in a movie, The Killer Klowns from Outer Space, which clown would you all be? And before you answer that, because I'm sure you're just like me. You're like,
the fat one.
Well, hold on. I wasn't going to go there right off the bat. But I was going to say, you probably don't know any of the names or anything.
I don't know the names, but I know exactly who.
So this will give you nightmares if you've not seen this damn movie. But I did find this handy dandy chart online, Shane. It's got all these damn clowns here. I guess this is a collection of them all. And apologies, it's a little hard to see, but all the way top left second.
Yeah,
that's what I'd go for you. And then if you go down and a couple to the right, I believe his name is Chubsy. I'll be Chubsy if you're fat. I mean, I think those are the only two options for us.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I've always equated John with Shorty. So even though he's taller than I am,
would he be this one to the left here?
He's the top. Yeah, no. Shorty is he's just a little guy. He's this movie did freak us out, and we did not. I hate clowns because of it, and I love candy, but I hate cotton candy because of this movie right here. So, yeah, what a terrible movie. Kids probably don't. I mean, they'll probably watch it now and not freak out because they've seen so much now. But back in the day, this was some scary stuff. So, yeah, I would say I'm Fatso and what did you? You're Chubby.
Chubsy, I think is his name. Spur your enthusiasm says justice for Fatso.
Yeah.
and Flying Hawaiian says Shorty and his tricycle.
That's it, and little bike. Yeah. I mean, because when we watched it, he was tiny. So.
Hey Shay, don't forget. You know that you're right. Back then we were kids. We were scared to death. We ain't scared now. We're grown men, and we got to shave. You know what? Because we're adults now. We ain't afraid of clowns. Also. Because of Manscaped, Shane. That's how we stay so trim, all on top of the head and in the beard for me.
Yes.
So head on over to manscaped.com, promo code, Shane. That SECTHAT SEC. Same promo code as my bookie. That'll get you 20% off and free shipping your entire order over at Manscaped. Don't be afraid of these clowns.
No. I mean, don't be the guy that says, "Hey, I'm cheap. I'll just cut it with a knife because." Look what can happen, Mike, you know. One slip in the shower and you're done. But get the Manscaped. I tell you what, it's a great gift. And again, I tell you, it's not going to be the one that they thank you for originally. But if you go back to their house 15 years from now and you say, hey, what are you shaving with? It's going to be the Manscaped you got them. So it's the gift that lasts. So that's what matters.
Yeah, I love it, Shane. They both sent us each, the product here, the Chairman Pro. It lasts for about 20 hours on a single charge. Really, really highly recommend it, Shane. Again, this is the Chairman Pro. Experience the shave that is as smooth as you deserve. 20% off, free shipping with promo code that SECTHAT SEC over at manscaped.com. How about this one, Shane? We kind of already hit on this, but he asked a question. I thought it was too good. We got Halloween. You got an axe in your face. SEC teams, but it's Halloween candy. So we did the Little Debbie's a while ago. We don't have to go through all of these or anything like that, but are there any that jump out to you? Halloween candies, the SEC teams' Halloween candies, and that was a question from Deplorable Reb.
Yeah, that's a good one, man. I would go with let's go Reese Cup Bama just because they're always pretty good. You know what I'm saying? It's like they've been around
Right.
forever. I would go Reese Cup with them.
How about Snickers for Georgia?
I was thinking about a complete team. It's almost a
Right.
protein bar, you know?
Right.
It's almost healthy for you.
Almost, yeah.
But it's there, you know. It's not one. It's one that you always. It's like one of the ones that you're looking for in the bag. So if you're looking in the playoff committee and you're sifting through the bag, you're like, Snickers belong in. So
Who is candy corn?
candy corn. I don't know who would be. Who's corn? So maybe Missouri. I don't know.
I think this year we got to give it to Missouri. They candy corn my ass.
Candy
You know what?
corned us. Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think. What's the does Walmart have a version, like a quaint version of candy? I don't know if they
Ace
got.
Man says the Longhorns are black licorice because no one likes them. And cousin Anthony says Oklahoma's an apple with a razor in it.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Jeez. Oh God. Yeah.
Any other stand out to you? I'm trying to rack my. I mean, I just bought a 20-pound bag from Costco. I should. How about the Hershey's bar that you referenced on the last episode? Who's the Hershey bar?
Hershey bar. I would go with. Again, I'd go with a good team there. LSU.
I was thinking
Hershey
A&M
bar.
for some reason.
No, you know, LSU probably more of like a Starburst. You know.
Yeah.
And, you know, they're all pretty good. Like every year, it's a pretty good year, but every now and then you get a pink one, and it's a national
I got a good one,
championship.
Shane.
You know,
I got a good one. Those little box nerds.
yeah,
Vanderbilt. Come on, those nerds over here. You know what?
yeah. What about roll? I give Tennessee a Rolo. Rolos are, again, not your first reaction, but you know, Rolos sometimes are like really good. Like you notice the caramel's just perfect, like a 98. Mint chocolate, you know, but then all of a sudden you get some that are like real hard, like if they've been in the bag for a while, and you're like, well, next year maybe we'll get a better Rolo. That's
How about Ole Miss could be like an Almond Joy? Because most people don't like coconut, but
No.
if you do, then you're all about it.
No,
That's kind of how I feel about Kiffin and Ole Miss.
No, they're a mound. You go in thinking they're an Almond Joy, and you're disappointed that there's no almonds in it. You know, that there's no protein in this football team. You know, we got all bought in for the last dance, and we realized we got a damn mound bar, not an Almond Joy.
All right, you got it. I can't think of any more. Can you?
No,
M&M's maybe.
maybe that rock candy for Kentucky. You know, because
Yeah.
Or a Jolly Rancher for Vanderbilt because they usually suck, you know.
Hey, cousin Marshall, appreciate you, brother. Gave us $10. Will you guys please continue picking against the Aggies the rest of the year? Please. The New Mexico State game is coming up. It looks kind of tough for them Aggies.
They got a quarterback. What's going on with them? I haven't even looked at them. It seems like that one of them hit the portal or something.
Who's that? New Mexico
New
State?
Mexico, yeah. Didn't that kid hit the portal or something? I don't know.
I have no idea, brother.
I don't know. I can't keep up with them.
All right, how about this one, Shane, from Cousin Slim, loyal listener here. Explain the good and bad of making it to the SEC championship game and what it means for the loser. The good, you get an automatic first round bye. Mm-hmm. You don't have to play in the first round of the playoff. And again, maybe, I think that's what we're all overlooking, Shane, because there's been, and I've said it myself, the 5 seed may be the best one of all because you get the G5 champion more than likely. You get to play a home game. But that sounds great, Shane. And all these slots sound great till you lose a game. And then you're sitting there saying, damn it, we could have been in the second round. We're already there. That's more than likely who's going to win it every year is the team that's got the less amount of wins you got to achieve. Because it gets tougher and tougher at the end of the season. So that's the plus side of the SEC championship. And the downside, obviously, I mean, there's no guarantee, Shane, you lose the SEC championship. Nobody wants to hear this, but there's no guarantee, particularly if you've already got 2 losses and you're in the championship game, you may not even make the college football playoff.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think too, it's added pressure because even like you said, if you lose by 2 touchdowns, 17 points, there's a good shot you get left out because they don't want to see this game again. You know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
yeah, I feel like I tried to do the pros and cons, and I like, what Spurrier says, it's tougher to win the SEC than it is a national championship. And I think there's pride to having an SEC championship. And I feel like at some point that's going to be, galvanized a little bit. But right now I see more cons in it. I try to make it a bigger game, but I think not having that on your resume is okay with me. Especially like you said, if you get a home field game.
Right. Hey, shout out to Alan Riddle in the comments. He says Florida's a 0 bar. Remember those?
Oh, shit. That's a good one.
And shout out to Cousin JR. What a guy. What a guy JR is. He just gifted a membership this time to Douglas Drain. Welcome, Douglas, to the family. Hopefully we'll see you tonight at the family reunion.
Hell yeah.
All right, how about this one, Shane, from Blue Mermillo? I hope I said that right. Cousin Shane, I'm always looking for different bourbons on the shelf behind you. What bottle would you celebrate with if the Vols win it all? Is there one you got your eye on, Shane, that you're just going to straight pound if them Tennessee Vols do the unthinkable and win the national championship?
Probably this one right here. This one, a lot of thought went into this one. And I like it because it has my initial on it. Ollie picked this one out for me. I also got a victory cigar that I smoked with the Alabama win. He sent that down here. So that one most likely. But I'm going to be honest with you, Mike. This bourbon is not really for celebrating. This bourbon is to pick me up when I'm having a bad day. Because if the Tennessee Vols lose, I can always come back in here and think about the better days when we had a victory and I got a bottle of bourbon sent to me. So it's more to lift me up in bad times than it is to celebrate during the peak seasons.
Okay, I got you. How about this one, Shane, from SEC Maverick? Emailed us this one. This is a detailed one here, Shane. I'm going to read it word for word here. These damn Razorbacks are killing me. Truth be told, they have slowly been choking me for 30 years. 1964 was the only championship, and that's still contested. Year in, year out, mediocre is the best we can muster. I have decided to dump the Razorbacks until they actually do something more than mediocre. Cousin Shane, can you give me 3 reasons why I should not give up on them Razorbacks?
Because, Mike, NIL and transfer portal, those are 2 reasons. And I always feel like, I don't know, I've always been optimistic. And I guess that's just in my DNA. I'm always for the positive in people. I'm always looking for the positive of a football team. And that's why I get sucked in the off season. I buy the hype. I'm waiting for a little nugget of something good. But this is not like, you want to talk about down. I've mentioned it on the show several times, but Derek Dooley, when we went to Arkansas, we got our asses. That was when the infamous punt return that I don't even want to mention the kid's name because it scarred me and kept me up. But there was a moment in that football game, Mike, that I was thinking, not only are we losing this game, but it is going to take years to compete with a team like Arkansas. So you got to remember, that's in my lifetime. That's not too long ago. It quickly can turn around, but it can turn quicker these days when you can jump into the transfer portal. You have a buy-in and say, you know what, we're going all in. We got the pieces we need. We just need a few to finish out a championship run. Arkansas has the money. They are not a poor university. They are a team that's got a ton of sponsorship, ton of boosters, and a ton of fans that are hungry. Just look at the basketball. Look how happy you guys are for basketball. It took one off season for you to get back in. So no, there's no way this day you may not like the current situation, but Mike, if you stick around long enough, I guarantee you Arkansas is going to win a damn championship.
And who knows, Shane? I mean, we're all kind of guessing and we're all reacting and all this, but big reason why we were all in on Ole Miss and Missouri, they've gone heavy in the NIL. Mm-hmm. They also had very manageable schedules, at least on paper.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to just single them out, but there's many other examples, like Florida State, who is, I believe, 1-7, who spent a ton of money. If Ohio State, who I believe spent more money than anybody in NIL this year, maybe them in Texas, but if they lose this weekend, they got 2 losses. We may be getting to a point here, Shane, where you go all in on this NIL. It is just impossible to manage a locker room.
Yeah.
And it's hard to manage these athletes when you're getting, I'm not saying they shouldn't be paid. We've had that conversation a million times, but it may not even suit you anymore to be at the top of the NIL list.
Yeah.
Because, it may, but it may not. I don't know. And to think exactly what you said, Arkansas, they got money, but they don't have the most money, but that may not necessarily be a bad thing. You know what?
Yeah. No, I what's the word that they use? Parity? Is that?
Yeah.
That's where we're at. That's where we're heading, and it won't be long. You won't be able to tell much difference from bottom to top. It's going to be like the NFL, and there's years I'm trying to think of it, the Steelers are good. There's years the Steelers are bad, but I feel like there's an opportunity to see more championship runs in your lifetime because this league has parity. So, yeah, I think now's the time to be buying in. This ain't the 80s and 90s anymore. This is new football, and the fact that you're one of the 16 teams in this league, you always have a chance to make the playoffs.
Right. All right, how about this one, Shane? I'm going to throw up their schedule here. From the Bengal, does the fact that Mizzou is still somehow ranked in the AP Top 25 confirm that if they manage to go 10-2, will they get into the college football playoff? And I hate to break it to you, the Bengal, I don't think it matters where you're ranked in the AP poll. It obviously matters where you are in the playoff poll. And when that thing drops on Tuesday, 6 days from now, there's no game this week. You're on a bye. I don't see it. I don't even expect Missouri to be ranked. Do you?
It's going to be close. They'll be fringe. I still think that there may be a shot. But one thing about Mizzou is you just got to destroy. You can't win. You have to destroy all 4 opponents that are coming up here. Yeah. Oklahoma, South Carolina, Mississippi State, and Arkansas. And what you really need is South Carolina to win this week, and you need Arkansas to potentially win out and be a top 25 team as well. Yeah. So if that were to happen, again, I feel like momentum can carry them into a playoff spot, but there's some variables, and obviously without a quarterback, you've got your hands full.
Yeah. Unfortunate, but I think that's a reality. All right, how about this one, Shane, from cousin SJ? Should Mark Stoops and Clark Lea swap salaries? For anybody that's unaware, Mark Stoops making $9 million this year, and Clark Lea's making around $3 million. Now it's a private school, so his contract's not publicly available, but that's what I believe it is based on what I know. So Mark Stoops making 3 times as much as Clark Lea. We should probably swap that this year, don't you think?
I think you should, but yeah, it won't happen. What would you pay if you knew what Coach Stoops was today, and you couldn't fire him? You just had to pay the guy. Where would you put him? Sit top out of the 16 SEC coaches. Where should Stoops be paid? You got to remember, been there a long time. Where they were before him, he did raise the bar for standards there in Lexington, even though that's starting to come down a little bit. But
12th.
12. Okay. All right.
And he's top 10 in the country. Yeah. This is crazy. This is craziness. Again, he's got Jimmy Sexton and
does he? You remember? I can't remember. It seemed like a while back he had the deal if he won.
No, they ripped that up.
Okay. Yeah, that was
automatic extension is what they had,
Yeah, he was going to stay there forever, wasn't he?
Here's how crazy this old Jimmy Sexton. And again, many people got on the soapbox. They hate the guy. He's making his clients money, but he is in large part. I don't know if that's the right word, but he is partly responsible, Shane, for where we're at today, where the athletes getting paid and all this, because you can't justify paying these coaches $10 million and not paying the players. You can't do it both ways. And he is responsible for getting these salaries to an insane amount. And here's the story, Shane. You may not know this. So Sam Pittman, before he got the Arkansas job,
Yeah.
this lady, I think her name was Judy something. It was well known. She politicked the Arkansas AD, Hunter Yurachek, got Sam Pittman essentially on the list. He wasn't even considered for the head coaching job. He got her on the list. And when Sam Pittman got hired, he pointed right over to Judy and said, thank you. Thank you for, without you, I don't have this job. Then Arkansas wins 9 games his second year. Jimmy Sexton calls and says, you want to make some money? You dump us Judy and get with me. And he fired her ass and went with Jimmy Sexton. Now he's making all this money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's the way it is. And I've also been told it was not as cold as that. Because again, we love Sam Pittman, and this is the truth as I know it. Jimmy Sexton said, for those that don't know, he doesn't just represent the head coaches. He represents all the elite coordinators too now.
Yeah.
He said, if you ever want to hire one of my coordinators, you'll sign me. Otherwise, to hell with you.
Shit.
So, I mean, what are these coaches going to do? You get all this money and you get access to all these assistants. You basically have to do it. Otherwise, you're hurting yourself.
Feels like a monopoly there, Mike. Didn't they break up a phone company for that once?
Yeah, they sure did. But no one's coming after Jimmy. You know what?
No, because you can't hire anybody to go after you. So
exactly. All right. How about this one, Shane? From cousin Evan Asher. I like this question here. What quarterback will transfer to Missouri and start next year? Now they got a touted freshman coming in, Matt Zollers. Unfortunately, Shane, he got hurt. He got hurt pretty bad. I think he tore up his knee or something like that. So, or broke his leg, something. So very unfortunate. But hopefully he's a great player in a year or two. He's very unlikely that he's not even finishing his senior season of high school, that he's going to come in and be like a day one baller here.
Yeah.
I hope he is. But he just threw this out and said, any chance it's Connor Wigman? So I'm turning the question on Evan. It's not quite what he's asking, but maybe we can go with the Wigman. Let's say A&M goes with Marcel Reed.
yeah,
I can't imagine Connor Wigman's going to stay there, but maybe he will. I don't know. Maybe he just loves it down there. But if let's say it's what do you think the possibility that a Wigman like that would be attracted to Missouri? And then I have 2 names here also, Shane, of quarterbacks in the SEC right now that I think could be on the radar, and this is completely hypothetical, that could transfer to Missouri, if that makes sense.
Yeah, well, first off, I think if Connor lost the job, I feel like Mizzou would be an excellent opportunity. They're putting dudes in the NFL. You're going to have plenty of opportunities, and I think there'll be weapons around him. So, yeah, I feel like that would be a good fit, and they would make the offense Connor's offense, where he's not looking over his shoulder. But,
right,
they do have, if he ever stopped playing baseball, they do got a pretty coveted backup there that just can't stay healthy. So there's some quarterback race going on internal, but who are the 2 names that you were thinking?
So there's a little bit of a wild card here, Shane.
I like wild cards.
I love what I'm seeing from Mississippi State freshman Michael Van Buren.
Yeah.
But they started the year with Blake Shapen.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe Shapen would need a waiver to keep playing, but I can't imagine how good Michael Van Buren has looked. And Blake Shapen, quite frankly, looks good too.
Yeah.
But, he's at the end of his eligibility, whereas Michael Van Buren's got it all in front of him. I would have to believe Mississippi State says this is Van Buren's job. So how about Blake Shapen? That's a wild card. And then Jackson Arnold, if he left Oklahoma, which I don't know. I have no idea if he would, but I don't know that he'd want to stay there given the state of their offense and the offensive line and he don't even know who the coordinator is going to be next year. So how about one of those names?
Do you think there's a shot Jackson Arnold just says, hey, I got this job, I'm not going to give it back up? And, maybe well, let me ask you one name that I've been thinking about. I don't know his situation. I probably should have done some research. But is Mertz eligible for a return, a medical return? Or I mean, I'd hate.
I don't believe so.
No, I was going to say that would be an interesting one too. Because I know he doesn't want to leave like he left.
Right. But I think he's just out of eligibility. But I mean, he would be a hell of a pickup too if they could get him.
Yeah, I just didn't know if he was eligible. So how many games? So he had more than 4 games. Well, I guess he's not already a red shirt, so he can't do that.
Right. I think he's just out of eligibility.
Damn, there's so many old quarterbacks out here. Why can't we have one more? I just feel like he didn't get a fair shot. But he was starting out pretty good, and hell, he had some great games. I'm not gonna lie. Don't let Florida's record fool you. But I feel like Florida is a team that is growing up and just grew up at the wrong time, and now DJ's kind of taking a little bit of the credit for that.
Yeah, to your point, I mean, in a downtime in Florida football, Graham Mertz is one of the bright stars they had on that squad. You know what?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, how about this one, Shane? I think you kind of already answered this, but Aggie True wants to know, who would you start this weekend, Connor Wigman or Marcel Reed?
Connor. I'm going with Connor. Everybody's expecting Reed, but that's the beauty of what you got there in College Station. You got the damn wild card, and you can roll out either quarterback, and they have to prepare for both. And you want to keep the next team on their toes, bring out Connor this week, because then you can surprise him with Reed the following.
Right. All right, how about this one from Bama Willie? What a cool name. Does Vanderbilt knock off LSU? It's at LSU or Tennessee. Shane, what's the possibility that Vanderbilt knocks off one of these? Tennessee in Nashville or at LSU?
Tennessee's the one that worries me, man. I'm a homer. I get it, but I like LSU's offense. They tripped out of the gate second half last week, but that is a football team that can put points up in a hurry, and Tennessee's not shown us that ability yet. I've seen flashes, but if you keep a game close and Tennessee goes 3 and out, which they've done before, Vanderbilt keeps the ball forever. It's like a perfect recipe. So that's the one I don't want to see. But Tennessee's the one I would give the edge to.
Okay. How about this one, Shane? I like this question from Salt Miner.
Nice.
Which team do you think has the most confusing or unexplainable loss this season in the SEC? Is there
Alabama and Georgia.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I still scratch my head. I don't see why Georgia lost that game. I don't understand the first quarter of that football game. It just it blows my mind, because we see what Alabama is and what they've done, and we've seen peak Georgia, and they got their asses kicked in that first half. So that's number one on my list.
And he's got a follow-up, Hugh Freeze edition here. If they played 9 out of 9, how many more? How does Georgia win?
Georgia wins 7 of them. Oh, yeah, maybe 8. Maybe 8.
Well, for me, Shane, I think the most confounding one is still Kentucky beating Ole Miss in Oxford.
Oh, well. Yeah.
I still don't know how in the hell. I mean, given what we know now about Kentucky, that looks worse and worse each and every week. And if they played 9 more times, I'd probably give it to Ole Miss 8,
Yeah. I mean, at the time, I was really surprised how Texas A&M killed Missouri. I mean, there was hints. There was, there was little trick. I felt like they could lose the game. I just never felt like they would get destroyed in that game. So that's another one.
All right, then to close us out, we always got food questions here, Shane.
Yeah.
Aaron Morgan, shout out cousin Aaron. Do you still think and miss Terry Black's barbecue from time to time?
Every damn day, Mike. Well, it's funny. Every time I talk to somebody from Texas, that's the first thing I bring up, because they always tell me they're from some town they never heard. And that's the bad thing about Texas is it's massive. I saw a picture of it in Europe, and I saw how many countries I could visit. So when I ask them, they'd be like, no, we're like nowhere near there. But yeah, I do miss mainly the beef rib.
Yeah. All right. And then the final one, Trey Tucker. Appreciate your cousin Trey. What's more embarrassing, Shane? Losing to Auburn or being Auburn?
Right now, being Auburn. Yeah. I feel like they still need a couple more wins because this is a prideful bunch, man. They shouldn't be fighting for bowl games. They should already had this thing locked up, going into November.
Yeah, and then he's got to follow up here. How many more blowouts for Mizzou until we can say last year was the outlier? Does Mizzou get blown out any more times this year, you think? And here's their schedule. Again, in 2 weeks, they got this week off. Oklahoma at home, at South Carolina, at Mississippi State, and Arkansas at home.
I don't know about blowouts. Maybe November 30th. Arkansas it could be a blowout team. Mississippi State's still looking for an SEC win. That's just embarrassing.
How about South Carolina if they get hot?
It's just depending on offense, man.
Yeah.
That wouldn't surprise me if it's a 10-7 football game. So, yeah, blowing out is one thing. Short of you, I don't know. They threw 3 picks last week. So, yeah, you may just let South Carolina's defense score some touchdowns.
And then final thing here from Trey's. Like I said, he's always got the food question, Shane. Best cereal that you enjoyed as a kid?
Nice.
Does anything stand out to you? Best cereal as a kid?
As a kid, yeah. Captain Crunch was the OG, and then they brought out the berries, and that was like, wait, what's going on here? So that was a whole different thing. And then Lucky Charms, So yeah, I got 3 of them.
And then he says, how about as an adult?
The same. No. No, I like more of a granola type deal. So as long as it's got some almond granola in there, that's kind of more what I'm into these days.
I gotta be honest. I'm searching for it. I'm trying to find it here. There's
frosted mini wheats are good. I don't like the big ones, but I like the mini wheats. John was we always had it at the house. So in a pinch, I'd eat those Smacks. Remember those?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He'd wear those, but you got to eat them quick because they get soggy. You can't mess around. You got to do small bowls. You can't do one big bowl.
There was one. It was some kind of golden oats or something like that. I really liked, but I'm.
What the biggest scam out there was it Kicks? You remember that?
Oh yeah.
They got me hook, line, and sinker as a kid. I'd watch these commercials and all these kids are eating. I'm like, damn, that cereal looks delicious. And it was the worst cereal ever. So they got me. They got us, We had to finish it because we weren't wasteful people. But I took a lot of sugar on those, But that was great commercial, but terrible cereal.
Yeah, it might be Honey Bunches of Oats. Does that sound about right? I'm gonna Google that.
What did they look like? They're circles, like Cheerios.
No, they weren't these ones.
I'm a cereal connoisseur, Mike. Give me a hint.
I just remember. They kind of look like they look like Cheerios, but they were a little bit fancier, and there was like a little nug in the middle.
Yeah, Honey Bunches of Oats. That's it. That's a good one.
I don't think that's it.
Well,
I really don't.
You're wrong.
I'm just looking at the box here. I'm
trying to think of the cabinets. When I was over at your house, I don't remember. I don't remember that cereal.
Well, I'll go with. I'll go with. I always like the Fruity Pebbles.
Well,
chocolate or the rainbow colored.
What's funny is there was stages at our house. So we started out cereal, sometimes oatmeal, that was kind of a thing. And then I remember Pop-Tarts came around, and we were a Pop-Tart family, John liked the blueberry or the strawberry ones. I liked the chocolate ones, and the s'mores came out. That was a game changer. My dad liked the cinnamons, and I didn't realize I was allergic to cinnamon. I just, when I was out, I'd still want a dad's, and then I'd have a fat lip or an eye, and I had no clue, just as allergies or whatever. But then we went from Pop-Tarts to toaster strudels. Now that was the ultimate, Mike, and the problem was you could knock out a whole box of those in a sitting, those were real good.
How did we get so fat? I don't know, Shane.
I don't know. Damn. Did we just start a cereal podcast?
Yeah, I think we got to wrap it up, Shane. We got the family reunion we're about to kick off.
Yes.
You got anything else before we hop off the line?
No, just tomorrow. I got a good outfit for you tomorrow, Mike. You're gonna like it. That's our big show. We're gonna have all the picks. I've already got my Grim Reaper pictures selected. So one fan base is going to be extremely happy, and one is going to be extremely pissed off. So be sure to tune in tomorrow at 7 and find out who it is.
All right, buddy. Well, I appreciate you. I appreciate each and every one of you. Hopefully, we'll see you here. We'll kick this thing off in just a minute on the family reunion. But until tomorrow, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 Central, we'll catch you on the next one.
Unless I die.